Hi, thanks for joining another video. Today, I'll share what I liked and disliked about the Galaxy S25 Ultra if you're thinking of purchasing it. As always, make sure to watch this video before buying the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Let's look at its launch price, which was 32,999 pesos. I know, it's been a while since it launched. And the S25 Ultra is almost here. So now, you'll find it at a considerably lower price, making it a very appealing choice. But for a fair comparison with its competitors, let's use its launch price as a reference. Let's begin with what I like the most about it. Firstly, the distribution is excellent. This is because you have the option to purchase it through various types of distributors, whether in online stores or physical retail locations. Additionally, they provide a great availability of options to select from, particularly regarding their colors. Even on the official Samsung store, exclusive colors have been released online. I believe that's always a nice touch, having a variety of choices available to you. Gorilla Armor 2 is fierce. Its anti-reflective glass isn't entirely glare-free, but compared to Gorilla Glass Victus 2, it truly shows a noticeable difference. The anti-reflective finish really is one of its standout features. I can even tell you it's better than the iPhone 17 Pro Max's anti-reflective finish. It also includes a separate app sound function that allows you to have some apps send their sound to Bluetooth headphones or speakers, while other apps keep their sound on the cell phone speakers. At the same time, it's a feature that isn't yet as common on other cell phones. In fact, it also lets you keep the sound playing while you record videos and activate the option. It's something that no other Android phone allows, only some Galaxy models and obviously the iPhone do. And trust me, you will appreciate this feature when you are, for example, playing music at your little one's party and then you want to record a video with your cell phone. Usually, the music stops, but if you activate the option, playback continues. That's an experience I'll never forget. It's very much appreciated on a flagship device. In fact, the camera itself has many options to turn on and off. And if you install Camera Assistant, you have even more options. Good luck is one of the strongest points of the Galaxy, because installing this application allows you to modify many things, not only the camera, but the entire phone. Trust me, it's a world of possibilities. I even have a video about Good Luck, lasting around 40 minutes, where I explain all system modifications possible with it, though I can't. Installing Expert RAW lets you access pictures with excellent detail, but remember, you must install Expert RAW. The shortcut is in the More Modes list and you can use it from there. The portrait pictures taken with the telephoto camera are exceptionally good and they appear quite professional. That's what I appreciated the most about the camera, the stunning portraits. Additionally, we could also emphasize the capability of recording up to K at 30 frames per second using the ultra-wide, main and telephoto lenses. In fact, when it comes to video recording, includes uncommon details. For instance, besides the zoom slider, there's a button to change and choose your zoom speed. So this is also quite convenient and other cell phones don't have it. In fact, in the professional video, it will also offer us the recording in log to colorize the video later, offering us also outstanding functions because not only can you record in log, but you can record in 4K at 60 frames per second, and in normal mode you can record in 4K. Additionally, the speed is incredibly fast at 120 frames per second. This makes it exceptionally well suited for capturing slow motion footage. When you want slow motion with an exceptional level of detail, it performs remarkably well. The high frame rate ensures that every moment is captured with precision, making it ideal for those who require slow motion shots with a brutal level of detail. The front camera records with excellent quality, especially when using portrait mode to blur the background. It can also record in 4K with HDR, and if it detects objects at the same distance to maintain focus, it looks fantastic. What's more, the dual recording mode is remarkable because it can record in 4K, and in this case, it even allows you to save the individual videos separately, in addition to the combined video. So in this case, it truly stands out, even though there are a few minor details I would like to enhance, such as allowing us to zoom while recording. It notes that the zoom is locked in this scenario, yet only a handful of brands can record in 4K with this dual recording mode, and well, the software is rich with features. Samsung indeed reigns supreme here. We will find the most advanced operating system, likely now also enhanced with the entire Galaxy AI suite. It's a feature-rich device. The modes and routines for automating tasks on your phone are powerful. You can open the sidebar to launch apps in floating window or split screen mode. It offers a lot, plus 7 years of software updates, ensuring a long lifespan. It also provides Samsung DX, allowing connection to an external monitor for both wired and wireless projection, enabling apps in windowed mode. Connecting a wireless keyboard and mouse further extends productivity. Samsung's ecosystem is impressive with the Ring, watch and tablet. Sadly, the Galaxy Book isn't available in Mexico and I'll keep pushing for its release there. But hey, with the SmartThings app, you gain access to a wide range of devices from various other brands as well. This is something I genuinely appreciate about Samsung. They have crafted an open and collaborative ecosystem that works seamlessly with numerous other brands. In SmartThings, for instance, you have the opportunity to explore a variety of compatible devices, allowing you to see all the different brands you can incorporate to build your smart home. In performance, it is also brutal. It took only 1.5 seconds to open each of the 16 applications I run in my test. The performance is very smooth. Switching between applications goes well. Unlike past years, where we saw white screenshots when we were switching between applications, now it looks very good. And finally, we will also find a brutal performance in games. It seems to me that it was the only cell phone capable of running bright memory at 120 frames per second, which is a very complicated game. Even other cell phones that have the same processor have not been able to do it. And this Galaxy has... So far everything is going excellent, but let's tell you now what I didn't like. In this case, we still do not see IP69. It is something that many Chinese manufacturers are already beginning to place to further increase water resistance. In addition, it does not offer the LHT-C codec. If you have wireless headphones that support this codec for very high resolution audio, here you cannot take advantage of them. Fortunately, it does have LDAC, which is great, but I would really like to see the entire catalog of codecs available in such an expensive device. When it comes to the cameras, there really isn't anything new to talk about. It's essentially been the same camera for several years now, particularly the 3X zoom camera. This definitely gives us the impression of a device that is slipping into oblivion or is falling behind, especially when we compare it to what we are seeing in cameras, particularly from Chinese manufacturers who are delivering a significant amount of quality. This camera, I must say, can no longer be seen as a highly competitive option in the full year of 2025. The front camera, especially in low light conditions at night, honestly could use some improvements. Additionally, its document scanner, an area where Samsung was once notably a pioneer, now falls short, offering fewer options compared to what other manufacturers provide today. You will certainly notice that the ultra-wide camera tends to produce a noticeable amount of distortion. At the edges and also in the main camera, I noticed chromatic aberration. Honestly, for this category, it suggests that Samsung might be slightly neglecting the camera aspect. For instance, at night, the photos are not to my liking when taken with this device. Especially when there's a light source, it tends to overexpose the image quite a bit. Trust me, cheaper devices are smarter at night to adjust bright areas, control noise and more. Samsung was far behind in this, especially with night mode, as neither camera lets us enjoy those features here. They don't quite provide us with a good feeling. Additionally, we won't be finding telemacro photography available, for instance. I bring this up because there are other devices that offer it. I'm not just making this up. Huawei, for example, captures excellent telemacro photos of small objects. With the telephoto camera, these photos turn out really well, yet we are unable to enjoy those features here. The fast camera also remains unimproved. Samsung, for some reason, insists that the maximum speed available is 60x. Almost any other device will let you reach more than 1000x, but in this case, it is very, very basic. Also take into account that this generation, they removed the Bluetooth to the S Pen. So if you were very used to use the S Pen as a remote control or to control your presentations or something like that, here you can no longer take advantage of it. I didn't used to utilize this feature, but I'm mentioning it because there are several users who do. Personally, I prefer to use the reload. Samsung's Galaxy Watch 7 and Galaxy Watch Ultra to do this kind of tasks, but well, if you are already used to this feature, if it should be mentioned. Curiously, it is a device that only supports 4 records with the fingerprint. I mention this because all non-Galaxy cell phones allow us to 5 records. So here you are a little more limited if you used to register the fingers of your trusted people and more, because here you will not have so many options. Moreover, there's no charger included in the box. This is becoming increasingly common, yet we still consider it a negative aspect worth mentioning. Additionally, while it does feature reverse wireless charging in the latest generations of Galaxy Watch, such as the Galaxy Watch 7 or Galaxy Watch Ultra, you can no longer charge the watch using the back of the cell phone. This issue stems directly from the watches themselves, due to the placement of the sensor and other factors. I mention this so you don't mistakenly think that within your ecosystem of Samsung products, you'll be able to charge your Watch 7, Watch 8 or Watch Ultra using the back of this cell phone, because that feature is no longer available. Yes, you can still charge the Galaxy Buds, but the newer watches cannot be charged this way anymore. The proximity sensor category, I am not fond of that decision because the virtual proximity sensor could have some inconsistencies. This is due to the fact that it relies on the microphones to determine whether you have the cell phone nearby or not. This is different from other cell phones that simply use the bounce of some lighting specifically to achieve this. I complained back then about the removal of game plugins, which limited the gaming experience. Now, the latest updates include an FPS monitor and some extras, but still no plugins. The Red Magic 11 Pro isn't as high-end as some models from Red Magic or other brands with more gaming tools. Speaking of games, if you're careful with heating and play at 120 frames per second, you might be surprised as the device can indeed reach 120 frames per second. In some games it looks intense, but if it heats up, which is normal, I'm just informing you so you don't complain. Trust me, it's nearly impossible to play at 120 frames per second and keep it cool. Unless it's the Red Magic 11 Pro, which is 100% for gaming. If you bought it, share your experience in the comments. For now, we have reached the conclusion of this video.